Today we're going over 4 drills that anyone can use, but I really want to gear it towards beginners or white belts. Now, a couple of these will test your skills, and that's good. That's a great way to help yourself improve. So if you're looking to sharpen the blades a little bit, you're in the right spot. Let's jump in. Drill number 1 is a turtle spin. Now, I really like to set up a scenario before I show the drill, just because it helps the drill make sense in your mind and where it can apply. So let's just say you're sparring, your opponent shoots in on you, you block, snap, and sprawl. He turtles up, you go chest to back. This is where this drill will come in handy. So as you can see in the example, I'm keeping all my weight on my opponent's back, chest to shoulder blades, by leaving my knees off the mat. I want you to get used to making this your workspace. This is where you're going to make things happen, whether it be submissions or spinning around and taking the back, whatever it may be. You need to get used to working from your feet and not your knees on the ground. This keeps your weight heavy on your opponent and makes him carry you, thus making his job a lot harder and yours is still relatively easy. Now, what I like to do to start this off, I like to take my left forearm and post in the back of his neck. I don't want them to be able to pick their head up as I spin around to the back. Now, just so you're not confused on which way you're running your legs, my hand that's on the arm that's on the neck will always point in the direction you should be running. So my left arm is posted on the back of her neck, which means my left hand is pointing to the right. And that's the way I'll run my legs. Now from here, before I turn the corner, I need to take my left hand and collapse the backside of my hand, where you would backhand someone, over her tricep. Now I am keeping active pressure, not crazy strong pressure, but active pressure with the back of my hand on her tricep, so that when I turn that corner, she can't snag a single leg. And as you can see, I clear that corner and I get myself to the side of her. Now, before anyone starts to say that that's not going to be enough pressure to prevent her from reaching out, you have to remember the physiology here. It doesn't matter if it's a 130-pound woman or a 260-pound powerlifter. All you're fighting is their rear delt there. And I will say that most, if not all, people don't have the strength in their rear delt to beat that hand pressure. And if you don't believe me, go ahead and find the strongest guy in your gym, have him turtle up, have him extend his arm from that position, tell him to keep his arm right where it is and apply downward pressure on that arm. You'd be surprised to see how easy it is to move that arm in that position. That's the exact movement that initiates the single leg. So as long as you can keep positive pressure on that tricep, you should be able to turn that corner with no problem. Now let's elevate this a little bit. Let's say you're a smaller person going against a bigger person, and maybe you don't have the arm length to trap the head and block the tricep at the same time. That's fine. As you can see in this example, I use my free hand, my right hand, to grab over the tricep and pin that arm down as I turn around to the side. You can also use this on someone who's really strong or really big, especially if you're not trusting the backhanded technique just yet. There's nothing wrong with pinning that arm with your other hand as you turn that corner. Now that we have the technique of the drill down, all you're gonna do is run this back and forth, and you can run these for a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes if you really wanna make it hell. 5 minutes. I would recommend that you don't focus on doing this fast right away. You wanna focus on keeping it clean, because slow is smooth, smooth is fast. You don't wanna learn this in a sloppy way, especially if you're getting deep into a 3 or 4 minute round of this. You will be out of breath. You will be tired. You want to keep this as clean as possible, especially if you're struggling with your cardio. So don't focus on speed, but rather focus on keeping it clean and crisp. And I just want to take a second to give my sponsor, X Martial, a shout out. On the mats, you've got seconds to react, and sometimes even less. You train for hours to move with precision. Your gear should keep up. X Martial makes high quality, high performance no-gi gear. The fit is clean and the material durable, breathable, and built for battle. One thing I can't stand about certain no-gi brands is how quickly the material falls apart and how quickly the designs wash away. Literally every single one of my rash guards that I own from X Martial has stood the test of time. I've been training Jiu Jitsu for 9 years and I still have rash guards that look brand new. And since we're talking about the designs, they're original, they're unique, they help you look good. If you're gonna go compete and you don't feel you look your best, you think that's helping you in your performance, you wanna go out and feel good about the person that you've built. And no-gi attire definitely helps with that. So if you want to look as good as me and probably even better, get over to xmartial.com and grab yourself some gear. I know you'd be happy you did. Look good, feel sharp, roll hard. Let's get back to the video. All right, number 2 is one of my all-time favorites, a classic. I learned it at the very beginning of my white belt, and it's the gorilla pass drill. Now, to set the stage for this one, this is really good for just encouraging clean, coordinated movement while keeping your hands on your opponent's knees. And once you start utilizing this kind of movement in sparring or even tournaments, you can really start to collapse the knees away from you as you turn the corner. Keep in mind, this is a cardio burner. We normally run this one for at least 2 minutes. You will struggle. You will be out of breath. It's a great opportunity to focus on your breathing. If you catch yourself holding your breath, like sometimes we do when we spar, I still catch myself 9 years in as a brown belt in Jiu Jitsu doing that from time to time. This is a great opportunity to train yourself to breathe through the moments of struggle. You have to remember that holding your breath in Jiu Jitsu is a bad habit, and many of us learned it from weightlifting. When we brace for big movements, maybe squats or deadlifts, you want to keep your core tight. That doesn't apply to Jiu Jitsu. If you catch yourself holding your breath in Jiu Jitsu, you're asking to gas yourself out early. So use this one to breathe throughout the whole thing, and it'll be a good opportunity for you to test yourself, learn a little bit, and improve. So as you can see here, my training partner lays on her back. She tucks her feet close to her butt. They don't have to be touching her butt, but close. And then I'm going to position myself off to the side. Now my arm that's on the outside will reach and touch her far knee. My arm that's on the inside or closer to her body, I'm going to put between her legs on the mat. And as you can see here, I kind of like to make a monkey fist or a gorilla fist, which isn't a true fist that you would make for stand-up, right? I'm not curling my fingers into my hand. I'm leaving my fingers flat and collapsing the palm of my hand on top of my fingers. This just makes it really easy to spin on your knuckles without really kinking any of your finger knuckles, which, trust me, sucks. I've done it about 100 times, which is why I've modified the hand position for this exact drill. Now, once my hands are set, we start the clock. We'll put 2 minutes up there, and I'm jumping to the other side. As I jump to the other side, my hands switch, but the rules still apply. The outside arm reaches for the far knee. The inside arm, closer to your training partner's body, goes to the ground with a gorilla fist. And you're gonna run this back and forth for 2 minutes. If you really wanna be psychotic, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. I've even seen people do this in a drill competition for up to 7 minutes, which is not necessary, but if you're looking to make yourself suffer, sure, why not? This one's gonna test your coordination as you get tired, which is why I really like it. It also makes you focus on your breath work. If you're not breathing correctly, this is going to be so much worse. So there's a lot of opportunity for improvement. The little techniques inside of Jiu Jitsu that you can focus on that you might not always be thinking about when you're rolling, like breath work. So if you're not using this one yet, I highly recommend you try it. All right, these last two are probably going to be challenging depending on how new you are. If you're brand new, don't beat yourself up if you can't get these down because there's a lot of moving parts. So first off, number 3, the armbar triangle armbar sweep drill. This is a really great drill because it gives you reps on the armbar, the triangle, an armbar, and then a sweep. And you and your training partner can go back and forth. So as you can see in this example, I start with my training partner in my closed guard. I begin to set up the armbar. And as I work through the armbar, as you're watching the techniques, right? Pulling the arm across my body, putting positive pressure on the back of her neck, turning my hips, biting down my right leg on her back so that I can swing my left leg over effectively, moving into a double hand grip on the forearm with her thumb facing up towards the sky. From here, there's 2 different ways we can finish. We can either A, finish the submission, and if you're newer to Jiu Jitsu, that's the way I recommend you do this. The other option is you don't finish and you move into the next piece of the transition. Now, that's great for more experienced people. If you're brand new, I would be worried about creating a training scar because if you can get to the submission, I don't want you to be trained to get there and let it go. I want you to be trained to get there and finish it. So if you're relatively new, you're still learning an armbar, go ahead and finish the submission, let your partner tap, and then you move on to the next piece. If you've been doing it for a while, flow through it, make it quick, you can get more reps. Now, as the armbar is completed, I allow her to pull that arm out. I then swing my leg over to the other side of her head and lock up the triangle setup. Once the triangle lock's complete, I can put both hands on the back of her head and I can finish this thing. Now, again, if you're brand new to Jiu Jitsu, go ahead and finish the triangle. If you got some experience and you want to keep this fast for reps, you don't necessarily have to finish this here. Now that you've completed the triangle, I'm going to loosen the grip around her neck and shoulder so that she can stand up with this, but I'm also keeping positive control. As she begins to stand up, you'll see me reach with my left hand to her outside leg so that I can leverage that leg to turn my hips. Once my hips are turned, I can take my right leg and put that over her face while keeping positive control of the wrist that's attached to the arm I'm isolating. From here, essentially, we can hit an inverted arm bar. I can get both hands on the wrist, or I can do it single-handedly, and I begin to hip through that elbow while using my legs to push her face and body away. But again, if you're new to jiu-jitsu, I think you probably get the idea here. You want to complete the submission until you get the tap. If you've been doing this for a while, obviously you can flow through it. Now, once we've completed the arm bar, I'm gonna drop into the sweep. You're gonna notice that I keep control of the wrist, I drop my butt to the ground, and I square up with her. From here, I'm gonna put my left foot on her right side hip. I'm gonna put the shoelace section of my right foot in the leg pit of her left leg, and my left hand is gonna grab the heel of her right leg, which is the same side as where my left foot is placed on the hip. Now from here, with wrist control in my right hand, I collapse my leg that's in her leg pit towards me while I push the leg that's on her hip away. As she begins to fall, I tighten my grip on her wrist and allow her body weight falling to pull me up to my base, so that if you're in a tournament and you get the sweep, you can get the 2 points when you come up. And then from here, I end up back in her guard. She can do the whole entire sequence to me until she sweeps me, and then she ends up back in my guard. And you can do this back and forth. Typically for this one, you can do it for reps. I like to have each person do it 10 times, but if you want to throw time on the clock, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, that's all good too. I really like this one because it shows you a couple different ways to hit the arm bar. It allows you to practice your triangle. It shows you how to string or chain together arm bars and triangles, and it allows you an opportunity to hit a sweep. And it's very easy to do this back and forth. So this is an excellent drill to start practicing if you're not using it yet. And this last drill, which is called Around the World, may be a little bit difficult if you're brand new to jiu-jitsu. If you go slow, it should be feasible. Now, this is great because it teaches you to flow away from a position you're losing. A lot of times we see new people in jiu-jitsu get to mount and they have a hard time holding it, or they're losing the position and they hold on for dear life and end up losing it anyways. If you're losing a position, switch to something else. And this is great for teaching you that. So as you can see here, my training partner is laying flat and I am in mount. She begins to bridge one way or the other. From there, I switch to a modified mount. If you notice, I'm allowing her to roll underneath me. I'm not trying to lock her down. I'm letting her have that movement so she can expose her back for me. Then from here, I can either go gift wrap or seatbelt, and I will pull my back leg towards her back. And as I switch the angle here, you'll be able to see this. If I don't pull my back leg or my foot up towards her back, I could potentially injure myself in this next sequence when I roll over. So once my leg is pinned against her back, it's very easy to pick her up, lean over my hip, and drag her into back control. Now from here, the drill isn't over. She begins to wiggle her back to the floor, which is the proper escape from back control, which means I am now losing the position. So instead of holding on for dear life, I take my outside arm and I'm gonna reach across and either get an underhook on her shoulder, or I can even grab her head. I switch my legs, as you can see here, which allows me to rotate back into the mount as she escapes back control. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of moving parts, but as I already talked about, this is great for teaching you to transition to other things, other positions if you're losing yours. Don't hang on for dear life, transition to something else. That's a concept that you will see all over jiu-jitsu. And if you're new to jiu-jitsu, this is gonna help teach you that really early on. This is a fun one and it's very practical for jiu-jitsu sparring. So if you're not using it yet, highly recommend you start. And those are 4 drills to help sharpen your skills today. As I always say, guys, you know I'm not the only teacher here. If you have drills that you like, drop them in the comments. I'm always interested to see what you guys are using, and other people coming through the videos in the comment section can learn from you guys as well. We're developing a community here where we all help each other, and I really appreciate that. So, you know how we like to end them? Sometimes backwards, always forwards. I'll see you in the next one.